Welcome back to the dumbest bill in America. We have with us, of course, Delegate Brian Chisholm. Welcome back, Brian.
Good to be here.
So get this podcast is called Shrinkage in Maryland. Yes, you heard that correctly. So the Comptroller of Maryland, Brian, said recently the state's population is shrinking rapidly. Maryland's population is declining rapidly. And but for, of course, this is the part she didn't say, but you and I both know this, but for all of the illegal immigrants coming into the state, Maryland's population would have dramatically dropped, of course, because people aren't having enough children to replace themselves. But more importantly, as she indicated, so many people have left the state. In fact, more than 2 million people have left Maryland, I think, over the past decade and a half or something like that. And so Brooke Lierman, the comptroller, is like, we've got shrinkage.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, we didn't expect this. we don't know about, well, I guess we know about shrinkage, but what do we know? I guess she wasn't informed. You know we have shrinkage. But
it's like George Costanza,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
From Seinfeld,
yes.
You know?
You don't understand. There was shrinkage.
It was shrinkage.
Yeah, maybe Maryland got wet and cold. I don't know.
I was in the pool.
Maybe we'll start to expand again when it gets warmer. And I don't know, and it's prettier outside. We won't have so much shrinkage. I don't know,
but we know why there's shrinkage in Maryland of population, because of the fact that the Democrats have just put forth policies that are just pushing people away.
That's right. It's shocking to me. I mean, I take a step back sometimes. Do they really believe what they say? I was like, we've been telling you can't tax people like this. So who do you think's leaving, Mark? It's the producers, the one that actually generate revenue.
Yes.
And are a huge upside to our economy. And who replaces them? Takers.
Exactly. High electricity prices,
yes.
High car registration fees, higher and higher property taxes, to the point that you're like, well, do I actually ever really own my house? And the answer is, well, actually, no, the state kind of owns it with you, and it's getting worse and worse. So people are just like, fine, I'm going to leave when I can afford to leave, or if I can find another career or the same career in another state, I'm going to go.
Right.
And so, Brooke Lierman, of course, who was also in the House of Delegates with us, Brian,
yes.
at one point, before she became comptroller, voted for all the bad stuff, all the bad stuff. But now she has this position of responsibility in the comptroller's office, and she's going, money is not coming in very well, and we have shrinkage.
Well, and then they blame it on the housing. Yeah, exactly. And they've been blaming it on the housing. I'm like, it's your fault.
Explain that. Explain that for the podcast listeners. What do you mean by that?
She's saying we don't have enough affordable housing. But on the other hand, they're part of the problem. They've caused every aspect of building a home to be more expensive. That's from the county all the way up to the state because of the stupid environmental regulations.
Yes.
So now they want little condo hotels all over the place so that you can buy one. And
aren't there like 20,000 to 30,000 vacant homes in Baltimore City?
That's right.
I mean, there you go. There's the housing that we need. But of course, people aren't going to go there because the property taxes are so high. So what she's missing is the affordable housing issue isn't why people leave. It's obviously housing is expensive in Maryland, but you know who's made it expensive? Government. They've made it unaffordable with property taxes, with income taxes. They take so much of your money, you don't have hardly any left to actually live on.
And that's the thing is, we've been the fourth highest migrated state out of in the country for like 4 or 5 years, because I bring it up on the floor all the time. Now she comes out with this report and I'm like, this is accelerated shrinkage. This is horrible. But they never want to reflect on why we're really here. It's like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Not only are we doing the same thing over and over again, but we are accelerating that even on a quicker basis. And now you see it is a bleak future if they don't find a way to start to encourage businesses to stay here, people to stay here, the producers, and stop inviting everybody that wants to suck on the teat of the Maryland government.
You know what I also have to say, Brian, and this is interesting, podcast listeners, is for Brooke Lierman, the Maryland comptroller, to say that the state has shrinkage in population and that it's pretty dramatic and pretty bad. I actually think she's seeing some really bad numbers of the so-called taxes that the Democrats were expecting to come in from all their tax increases. I don't think they're showing up very well.
So you feel you were shortchanged?
Yes.
I think they're really, really worried about this. And they're like, well, we got to figure out a way of keeping people here so that they will pay taxes, which is really what this is about, right?
I brought this up before, but I'm like, this is like mark-to-market accounting. If you remember Enron, they said, no, we got this new accounting way. We are going to say, we made 20 million this year, but we're going to make 120 million next year. So they're just making stuff up out of the blue. And I think that's what Brooke sees right now.
Yes, she does.
When we balance our budget, how do we do it, Mark? We do it on future projections.
Always, yes.
We're going to tax this amount and this much is going to come in. And I think what Brooke Lierman is seeing, and I'm just guessing, is the money that we thought was going to come in is not coming in, and it's actually leaving the state.
You mean shrinkage?
Yes.
100%. Final thoughts on shrinkage in Maryland, Brian?
Hey, just hold in there, folks. I mean, I know it's cold and wet and shrinkage happens. Maybe in the spring and in the summer, things will enlarge again and we'll start to have some good people come back.
And that's the dumbest bill in America. See you next time.